Breaking news tonight from the Human Error News Network. We've all been there, right? An incident happens, a report lands on your desk, you find yourself in that tense meeting, and you already know exactly how it's going to end. It's that same old sinking feeling in your stomach. The investigation wraps up, all the paperwork gets filed, and a single, simple, and honestly, a deeply unsatisfying explanation gets stamped across the whole thing. You know the one. It was human error. And just like that, boom, the case is closed. The learning grinds to a halt, one person gets the blame, while the very system that pushed them into that failure gets a free pass. But what if that conclusion isn't the answer? What if it's actually the padlock that stops us from ever getting any safer? See, after every single failure, your organization arrives at a fork in the road. You have to make a fundamental choice. And a path you take, well, that's what determines whether you're going to be dealing with the exact same mistake next week or if you'll finally start to get ahead of it. Okay, so here's the choice, laid out plain and simple. Path 1, you blame the human. This slams the brakes on learning. It papers over the real cracks in your system, and it creates a culture of fear where no one wants to speak up. Or, path 2, you learn from the failure. This is what drives real improvement. It shines a spotlight on those system weaknesses, and it builds trust. Now, here's the most important part. You can't do both. You have to pick one. So today, we're opening up a brand new investigation. So let's open the case file, Exhibit A, the exhausted worker. And look, this isn't about one person having an off day. This is the reality for millions of people, a huge systemic risk that we just keep overlooking. Just take a look at these numbers. I mean, really look. We're talking about 77% of workers reporting work-related stress. A staggering 85% are dealing with burnout. And 57%, they feel emotionally exhausted. This isn't just some wellness issue. This is a massive system-wide safety threat that's hiding in plain sight. And here's the direct result of all that. 51%. Get this. That's the number of employees who openly admit to making serious mistakes specifically because they were tired. So human error isn't the cause here, is it? It's the symptom. The real disease is a system that's running on empty. All right, now for Exhibit B. Because, being tired is one thing, but it doesn't fully explain why good, smart, experienced people sometimes make choices that seem obviously unsafe. The answer, it turns out, is in how our own brains are wired to trick us into feeling safe, right up until the moment it all goes wrong. First up, we've got something called cognitive bias. You can think of it like a little glitch in our mental software. Our brains are designed to take shortcuts, and a huge one is called optimism bias. We are literally hardwired to believe an accident won't happen to us. And the data shows this one bias alone makes us underestimate real risk by about 15%. It's a built-in blind spot we all have. But then it gets even more dangerous. This is a concept called normalization of deviance. It's a fancy term for a simple and frankly terrifying process. When we take a shortcut and get away with it, it feels a little less risky the next time. And if you repeat it enough, that unsafe way of doing things becomes the new normal. This shows exactly how it happens. It's a slippery slope. Step 1, somebody takes an unsafe shortcut. Step 2, nothing bad happens. No negative consequence. Step 3, so they do it again. Step 4, pretty soon that feeling of risk starts to fade away. Until finally you hit Step 5. That unsafe shortcut, well, it isn't a shortcut anymore. It's just how we do things around here. So let's review the evidence. We've got exhausted workers operating with brains that have built-in blind spots inside of systems where dangerous habits have become totally normal. Okay, this is where we pivot. This is where you stop being a spectator of the problem and start leading a whole new kind of investigation. And here it is. This is the single most important finding of our entire investigation. The real culprit is almost never just one person. It's the system. It's the deadlines, the procedures, the culture, and all the unwritten rules that guided that person's decision right into that failure. So the big question is, how do you actually do it? How do you get your entire organization to stop hunting for who to blame and start digging for why it happened? How do you make that massive shift from blame to learning? Well, you start by asking better questions. It's that simple. Instead of asking, why were they so careless, you ask, were they under an impossible deadline? Instead of, didn't they read the manual?
You ask, is our safe procedure so ridiculously complicated that it actually encourages people to find a workaround? See? These questions change everything. They put the system on trial, not the person. I want you to let this quote really sink in, because it's the key to everything. Human behavior doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's a product of the environment. So when you see an error, you aren't seeing one person fail. You are seeing the direct output of a system shaped by deadlines, by fatigue, and by culture. That is the new target for your investigation.
So now that you know how to find the why behind the who, the whole game changes. Blaming a person is easy, but it fixes nothing. Understanding the system, that's harder, but it's the only way to actually prevent the next failure. And that brings us to the next, even bigger question. How do you stop just investigating failures after they happen and start designing systems that are actually built to prevent them in the first place?